things that Jamaicans need to that are kind of like cutting our, damaging to us in terms of what we consider culture to be.
Mm-hmm.
And those things we need to we need to get rid of. Wasting time, which means spending 3 hours in flow to buy a phone, is abusive. And we need to take a look at what we do on this micro abuse or microaggression towards one another, because this crime and violence doesn't just come out of the ground. It takes time. It's like Chinese torture. It takes time until you realize, hey, how did I get into this mess? Which is the question we're all asking.
Mm-hmm.
How did we get here from there? We cannot continue to do the same thing, anything, the same way and expect a different result. That is the definition of insanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what me. That's who I am. I don't. Where my mother gave labor or gave birth to me is of no consequence to my interest. It has no bearing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a non-conversation as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Do you smoke?
What?
You sound a bit intense. So I wanted to know if you smoke too. So we're currently live on the show. This is Jamaica Good Life. No problem. We're live. Welcome to another episode of Jamaica Good Life. I have here Tony. I have here the legendary Lisa and the one and only Afro-American Jamaican fighting to be Jamaican 100%. Jennifer, who's fully supportive of the culture and moving the culture forward to the 21st century. She doesn't like flow and the service there, so we're looking to write a letter to them also. Now, Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little 30-second bullets about yourself. Do people want to get to know this panel, who we are? Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Tony, please. Okay. Tony? Hello? Lisa? Jennifer? Anybody?
I'm here. And you're the one who silenced Tony.
Tony, just be like a pilot. Be on it. Go ahead, Tony. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So, born in West Kingston.
Houston, we have a problem.
Are you going to silence Tony?
All right. So, Tony.
You want me to go ahead?
Go ahead, Lisa. Tony, I'm going to call you back on WhatsApp, okay? WhatsApp was more excited. So hang up on Skype. Let me call you on WhatsApp. Tony's in Jamaica right now, so let me call you on WhatsApp, Tony. Okay, good. Sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Maybe he's going to come back in. He's better on WhatsApp than on Skype. Let's see. Brother. It's going to be a good show.
We are live?
We're live now. Tony. Hello. Okay. Jamaica, Tony, are you there?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. Letter to Jamaica. This is Randy Pottinger for Letter to Jamaica. We don't get a lot of views because, the Jamaicans, what am I busy doing right now? Well, we are talking about serious things. What am I dealing with? I have the Constitution up. What do you think Jamaicans are doing right now? It's 8:18 p.m. I'll wait on Tony.
I'm outside. I play dominoes.
Let me see here. Let me try to.
What's the weather?
We have to bring our one and only John Crow this scene. So, Tony, what's the difference between your setup tonight than before?
Does he have flow?
This is the one and only. Welcome to a brother. John Crow is in the house.
Yes, indeed.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, John Crow.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How you
Good
feeling?
night.
Cool down here, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Snow and cool. But I'm foreign with it, so what I gotta do?
So, Tony, you're there now? Okay. Okay. All right. So, all right. We could just move forward. To John Crow. Sorry if just suddenly call you. Question for you.
Hello?
Are you good now, Tony? You're good?
Yeah. But yes.
Is everything okay? We ready to go?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, my brother. So now talk to me. Tell me a little bit about yourself, the people that want to know a little bit about them.
Hello?
Yeah. You good? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, people. We're gonna try this again. Let's try this again. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, this is a couple of nights ago was not so technical. Normally when I have shows online, everyone has a headset, everything is in place. But it's what it is. So let's try call John Crow and then Lisa. But we have to just do it a little bit. So there's Lisa. Let's add her and let's add John Crow. Tony's working on some technical stuff. So, Jennifer, tell me what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about tonight?
I would like to talk about how the panel feels about what I had introduced in terms of having, general speak here, having some type of, having people in the diaspora send $5 a month to this account, and we start to develop areas in Jamaica, whether it's to buy land, farmland, or whatever it is. I just want to hear what the others think about that.
So you want to talk about your agenda?
No, it's not my agenda. It's just an idea that I would like to. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had this idea, but I would like to hear how others feel about it.
I thought we were tackling crime. I don't know.
Well, like I said earlier, there's so many reasons or causes for crime. So there's going to be that many plus one more solution to it. There's not one road to Mecca. As long as we know what where the objective is. Okay. However you get there is how you get there. You know what I mean? We don't all have to be lockstep. That's impossible.
So your approach is to put money from abroad to how is that going to fight crime?
No, okay. One, my objective is not to throw money at the problem. Mm-hmm. This money would be able to provide opportunities. Let's take, since the music seems to be at the forefront of my mind at the moment, we have, I don't know if they have anyone music classes, anyone taking piano, drums, music classes, not because the children or the people don't have that natural talent or the interest, but because there's no place to exercise that talent or interest. So we could have, places like wherever where the kids can go and get instruction on how to play an instrument. I don't know what school is like there. I went to school here, but we had band and things like that. And then if you're interested, you just build on your interest in terms of the instrument. But and plus, playing music, I didn't research it, but I heard that it helps with math. It helps with understanding. It builds teamwork. That it gives you the person a sense of belonging because your instrument helps to make this song. And since everybody, nowadays wants to be a quote unquote artist or a entertainer, you may want to know the basics of that form of art. So that's what I'm saying. So, we have to provide opportunities. A lot of these people that find themselves in crime, period, wherever you are, feel there's a lack of opportunity. So since the gangs and negative is so available freely and you have to give a balance. And but no, my I just don't want it to seem as if, oh, just give money. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this money, how much it ever is collected, whether it would provide opportunities for people. And you can't expect people to come in and teach for free.
All right. So let me give some direction here. Letter to Jamaica is a show in 5th episode about writing a letter to Jamaica with solutions. So if the music idea is part of this strategy to help youths through music and people sending money from abroad, that's cool. What I started with Janko, Tony, and Lisa, we're trying to discuss crime, the system of crime. We're trying to analyze. So we're up to episode 10. We're still analyzing crime. And people are writing down their ideas in the letter. So you could expand on the idea. I plan to add to this letter with a lot of ideas myself. So on the show, we're trying to discuss crime right now to see if we could put our minds together to analyze what's happening in Jamaica right now. The solutions are actually in the letter. You see what I'm saying? So there's 2 points to this show. It's the letter which has a solution, just like your ideas. But on the show, we discuss more. Why is this crime happening? So we're trying to figure it out. So we're putting minds together to figure out why is the crime happening. And the letter then solves. So it's more of we allow everyone to write down their ideas so we could send it off but as far as us thinking about putting money together to build something, what do you guys think about that, John Crow? Because I don't want to veer off. We started with crime, and I want to kind of keep focus on our analyzing the crime. Lisa, chime in, because that's what we've been doing. We've been analyzing.
Yes. Well, yes. Of course, we love what Jennifer has to say. We love her insight. And Jennifer, I didn't say nothing bad about you, nor to you, Tony. So don't listen to Rain.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, but if you notice, I think Major General Anthony Anderson is trying to put the pedal to the metal. They've been, going out there, listing people who they're looking for. They've been finding all these guns. They've been trying to, do some arrests. So it seems as if that fire that Mark Golding lit, saying he wants to see like some kind of improvement within 60 days, or they should resign. Although him and Horace trying to say we're not resigning, but they're trying. I can see where they're trying, so I'm not going to knock them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but my whole thing is, how did all these guns end up in Jamaica anyway? If it's even illegal to have it there.
Mm-hmm.
So finding these guns and arresting these little guys, why don't we go to the bigger fishes or ports? Who are letting these guns in? Then again, we don't own our ports now, do we?
Mm-hmm.
So, leads you right back again to corruption. They said we're the 5th country in corruption. 5th.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. I don't like that number. So they are trying, and we will see the 60 days is still on the clock. The 60 days is still, ticking. So let's see what else they can come up with. And let's see this crime rate go down, because over 100 for 1 month? And he's saying we're down 19%. I'm wondering if his 19% is the same 19% I'm thinking, because we're doing 2 different math. Maybe he's doing calculus while I'm doing algebra. I don't know. But we'll see. The 60 days is still ticking. The 60 days is still ticking.
Tony, do you have any update on what's going on, or John Crow?
Okay. We might go in a talk of foolishness. Foolishness in my talk, because if them more, they contribute for help. They might say, all right, we'll give you 60 days to solve the problem. All right, 60 days pass. So you switch political party to the dead and put in the PNP. You think things are going to change? No. Not going to change. They're going to just flip to the other side. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing rotten from the top goes straight down to the bottom. The whole thing rotten. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to try to save the thing. You have to throw the whole of them. You have to just throw the whole of them, because them pollute the whole place with them corruption. See, the government corrupt, the preacher corrupt, the police corrupt, every striking body corrupt. If a little country like Jamaica a fifth for the corruption barometer. So I'm saying, so there is moral decay. That's what we are dealing with. Moral decay. So you have to go I don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to go change the mindset of the people them. And it's kind of strange too, because again, Jamaica, they say, has the most churches per square mile than any other country in the world. But we have high corruption rate, high homicide rate. You would have think say, oh, we have the highest, the most churches, the people them would have some morals. But me don't know. The thing twist round, upside down. So,
So Jennifer, under your letter, part of solutions, I'm going to the letter right now. This is where Lisa, this is where adding music, you say creating a program. I'm adding to your letter for ideas. Create a program.
Well, you know what, Randy? I'm going to have to I'm going to have to do some research on that, so that people don't think, oh, she just wants me. I don't want it to be trivialized. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some research to show the scientific proof how music affects people. Okay,
yeah.
Not only music, we have vocational programs that work for people. They may not have the money or aptitude for being a CEO of a company, but they're able to become entrepreneurs on some level, where they want to bake or whatever. Just add to the bottom. Like I said before, nothing has changed. Reason why people turn to crime, the basic reason is because of lack of opportunity. And when So that's usually the problem. So what I would like to do in just a very general statement, that I'll offer these people skills where they can be productive, whether they stay in Jamaica or they fly out. They have a skill. But when you have somebody who is migrating or living there with no skill, what?
Holy shit. God damn it. I'm not up to speed. Gosh. Jeez. Sorry.
That's
Continue. Sorry.
that's okay. That's
Continue.
that's okay. But crime is the easiest thing to do. People
Hmm.
join gangs because they want protection. They feel vulnerable. What's more vulnerable than being poor? So and listen. I was fortunate to have the upbringing that I had, and I was able to, and that has allowed me to see things from a lot of different angles.
Hmm.
And what's the point of having all this information and keeping it to myself?
Yes.
But like I
Yes.
said, I don't want my ideas to be trivialized. So I'm going to have to, cite.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to have to
1
back
second.
up my.
No, don't back up your idea. We wanna. What's going on with Tony tonight? I mean, like,
What's
all
the
right.
weather like in Jamaica right now?
It's probably a lot of crime.
Because if it's raining and stuff like that, maybe that's why he's having difficulty with his Wi-Fi.
Oh, I see what you're saying. 1 second. Tony, are you there now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're sounding good now. Are you Is it raining in Jamaica? Because I think there's a flood.
No, not no. No, I don't.
All right, continue, Jennifer. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so that's all. What's the point of having all this information if I don't share it? And hopefully people can use it.
Mm-hmm,
So that's just my point of view.
No. I mean, I think what this idea panel is, the solution panel, that's what the letter is for. And it's not trivializing. We know music is basically
You know what, Bondi?
key for developing. Go ahead.
Neely Fuller is a man that I have a lot of respect for.
Mm-hmm.
Says that as far as Black people in America is concerned, there are 9 human activities, and he lists them in order of how we're being attacked. And I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, wow, you don't even realize that you're at war pretty much, and how it's being used. These 9 areas of activity, human activity, are weaponized. So the same thing is in Jamaica. You understand? And because many of them, I wonder, like John Crow said, there's so many churches, but so much crime. And I wonder if that also is by design. And I believe that it is. It may not have initiated or it did not start out that way, but the end result is what it is. And generally speaking, again, and I don't want to, offend anyone with their religious beliefs or practices, but generally, religion keeps you in the mindset of a child. And, children do not have the emotional maturity. It's not nurtured to become an adult. Once you're 18, they say you're an adult, but you're still thinking like a 9-year-old. You still reason like a 9-year-old. Your topics of conversation are very basic. And that has become the culture. So we can change the culture by changing how we think. How we think is a direct result on how we are nurtured or not nurtured, as the case may be. Why is it that why are people not nurtured, quote unquote, meaning, it's okay to ask a little boy, why are you crying? But no, we say, stop crying. So he learns to hold his feelings in. Where do those feelings go? They get displayed as, he's unruly, or he can't hear, or he's just bad. All of these negative words, he starts to identify with these labels when he's just crying because he's upset about something. So we have to, your daughter is 14 years old and she's showing her breast on the internet, and you get upset and you start chasing her around the house or wherever with a machete. That's the solution? So we have to be more compassionate with one another. We have to be more intentional in what we say and how we say it, so that we could have a better, a more communal way of living, which is normal for us as a people. So,
Okay.
like
Okay.
I said,
Okay.
solution to crime is an individual thing. We've got to be able to support that individuality, people to be able to express themselves.
Right. But you guys understand what Jennifer is trying to say, right? As far as sounds and music, like if you think about it, the more they sing about guns and drugs and violence,
Exactly.
and not just the words, sounds have an effect on our mind.
Yep.
If you think about it, and let's not demean this, just listen to me for a second. You know how they have those silent whistles for animals and stuff like that? That's a sound, right? Music is a sound, waves. And think of, how they come into our culture. And Jennifer says it best. We teach them everything about our culture. And then they go out and they make money off it. And here we are still here. But the music and the mindset of what it's doing. So it's not basically dancehall and stuff, but just think about how they're talking about guns and drugs, and it's the same thing that's playing out in our neighborhoods. So that's what she's trying to say about music, as far as changing the direction.
To add to what you're saying, Lisa, there's something called frequencies. Okay,
there you
go. Our brains function on frequency. Like your grandmother would say, "My spirit never took this person." That's what she's talking about. The frequency was off. And when you go into a room, you feel tension because of the frequency, the energy in the room. And music has a certain type of hertz that is put out. And there is a direct difference. I feel it with the music, let's say from Peter Tosh, his music, and who's the latest person nowadays and their music. It's off-putting. So it's a certain frequency that they're putting out in this music that is causing this type of negative energy. Either you tap into that energy or you turn off the music. But I don't listen to the radio at here. I use something else as my form of entertainment, but because of that frequency.
Okay. All right. Well, Tony, you can chime in.
Yes. The music is part of our culture, and that's important. So the type of music that we're hearing do have a lot of influence on our young minds, because that's also a tool you use to teach.
Yep.
So a lot of this gun violence that we're seeing here, if you listen to a lot of these new music, they're glorifying these things. Then again, they could say, well, we want to live in what we see going on in our neighborhoods. So that's it's something that we have to really look into.
Okay,
But
John
these young men that have all these guns, they're very immature.
Very
And
immature.
and to have a gun takes a lot of responsibility, and they're not responsible enough. So we have to get the guns out of their hands somehow. If we start eliminating the guns, make it difficult to get a gun, then we probably see some movement in a crime.
While we're talking, I'm drawing some stuff on the screen where I'm going to try to insert a document in this letter to add some of the things we talk about. Because what we're doing on the show is to discuss. While we're discussing, we're building this letter. I could take notes on the letter that we could expand on. The show is about solving a problem with solutions, right? So change in music is something that we want to look into for Jamaica. Like Jennifer is mentioning, a change in music. That's a very important thing to kind of ease the tension in the mind and purify the music to purify the person. John Crow, add to that for me.
Yes, Jennifer is correct, because what you had go back to psychology, goes to psychology and programming. They do that, but somebody again is behind the scene dictating, again telling them, say, look, we want you to put out this, and then they promote that. See, these people in this music industry, they dictate what you sing. See, they say, look, we want you to sing this, all right? We don't want you to sing nothing about no upliftment or this. We want you to sing trash, you see? And then them flood the community with the trash, and then them bring in the guns too. So it's not, this thing is not just these entertainers doing, it's by systematic design. And it's spreading now globally. It's spreading even to Africa now. I heard you say something the other day. They said, look, do we want the African artists to be imitating some of these? But that is what they're doing. They're wearing the stars, wear them pants now and them backside, and they have the tattoo all over them, and the same, because we have to remember, especially this youth here in Black America, the whole world imitate this black youth here in America,
Yep.
If the black youth here in America turn them at back ways, everybody turn them at back ways. You see? So is this youth here right here, so here in the West here, so is him and the one who are drive the thing? You see, unknowingly, because again, when you don't know yourself, or you don't have no knowledge of yourself, anybody can, all right, look away. When you sit down and talk to look away, you realize this nonsense type cultural act. But yet still, it is a multi-millionaire. So the youth themselves say, well, I want to be like look away, I want to, so they might live where they might say. But if I say it's correct, we can give letters too, but we have to have some solution in there too. And, the government, I would say, them not going to do nothing because them so corrupt now. Them is so, them don't know which direction to turn. So it's like if you have a glass of cyanide and you pour out half of it, okay, and you fill it up with vitamins and juices and minerals and everything, I say, all right, drink it. You would have drink it? No, because so you have to go through the whole thing, and that's what we have to do with them. Both of them people here, they have to come out. Them can't stay in there and say, oh, you can't left with somebody who are create a problem. They say, oh, well, me go solve the problem. No, them not go do it because them crooked. Them crooked from the core. So may I agree with Jennifer.
So we have we have 6 circles here in the document, the letter. I'm creating diagrams. As we discuss ideas we're going to add these circles. We're trying to, for the future leaders, change the music, more African history, a gun sweep, improve technology, access,
You have medical care?
1 second. Programming, artificial intelligent programming. And then we have free schools, more access to digital books, better medical care, improve medical care, right? Improve medical institution, right?
Yeah, the whole institution.
Yeah, care, and we're talking about care, and we're talking about
Facilities.
care and access to care,
Mhm.
free access, care.
Some of those churches we can turn into little clinics.
Our centers for and clinics.
Or a factory.
So
Factory.
all right, so we say here, convert churches into productive community centered. How do we put that? We have to convert the churches into productive elements of the society. Not that they're not productive,
And what does
but
that mean?
improve, meaning farming. Allow churches to farm more. Social centers for women. More social work in the community. So let's see, churches, clinics. 1 second, CH. Churches be more clinical, right? Farming, right? Social centers, right? Now this is mental, professional mental advice.
Yes, that is much
Not just
needed.
Not just the pastors,
Yeah, no, professional,
Absolutely.
African-centered psychiatrists and psychologists.
Yes.
No
Just-
European,
we just
you have to.
say send your uncle. Go ahead.
Yeah. It has to be African-centered psychiatrists and psychologists. We don't want nobody who have our history and our experience become and are diagnosed with.
Mhm.
That's what them do this country or so. And then them say, all right, me go do, you have to give some medication. When it's a problem in your head, you need somebody to talk to you, to break it down. You say, oh, take this Torresina, so take this Demerol, and we go and get a check behind it. So you stop and take it back.
I like this viewer says invest in solar energy, and I think we should also have police body cams. Make police more accountable.
What is the qualification to be a police in Jamaica at this point?
I'm not sure.
Does anyone know? Okay.
We have to change. They have to
need to look into that.
Change gun laws. Change gun laws. And there's crime laws in general. Right.
Another thing you mentioned, you had mentioned how to have transparency in government.
Yeah, digitize everything. All agencies, yes. Post office, yes. Tax office, etc.
Yes.
Digitize
transparency.
All agencies. I think for transparency. But we also
did you live in Jamaica in the 70s?
Yeah.
Were you in Jamaica in the 70s?
Yes, I came here in 1980.
Okay. Do you remember like I remember guns were like a big deal. Like if you had a gun, people were just scared to even know somebody down the road had a gun. Do you remember what was the fear behind that? They used to have something called gun court, right?
Yes, you have gun court and home guard. Manly they have a thing where you have home guard coming. But luckily, I was fortunate that where I grew up, I never really exposed to that. We grew up in the 70s, so we never really get exposed. Is now when it got closer to 1980, that's when we see the neighborhood begin to change. But that's when we leave and come this space. So, but yeah, we never grew up see a lot of gun crime and stuff like that. But
no.
When I was leaving though, we started to see soldier police are coming up patrol with gun. So but
Okay. Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the 70s well. The early 70s,
Okay.
I remember when the Jamaican dollar was, was more than the US dollar. I remember fuel was 30 cents a gallon. That's when after they converted to the dollars and cents from it per pound. What happened is when Manley won the election, in 72, he started to make some social changes. And, he started aligning himself with Fidel Castro in Cuba. So the American government, realized what was happening. And, they thought Jamaica was going to go communist. So the CIA came down here and infiltrate the government and gave the opposition party, aid the opposition party to destabilize the country. And that's where all the guns start coming in.
Yep.
On top of that, the U.S. also had a sanction on Jamaica. And that's where you start seeing, you couldn't get anything in the stores. You go to a supermarket, the shelves were empty. There was scarcity of basic needs. If when you go to the store, there's be marrying products. If you buy rice, you gotta buy, some oil or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I remember that slightly.
It got bad for a lot of people. Then in the mid-70s, things really got bad because there was a lot of scarcity. The business people were closing their business and leaving. Leaving the country, taking the money out. That all that was to get Manley out of power, and that's why and along with the political violence and all this stuff, and eventually in 1980, that's when CR 82 CR came back, JLP came into power, and then things start normalizing in a sense, but it wasn't really. But I mean, the economy started picking up and everything like that. They lifted the sanction and all this stuff. But yeah,
I think one of the main things
I saw a lot of violence back in, I remember going to school, seeing dead bodies on the street, guys, getting gunshots, and they don't pick up right away. You know what I mean? I live in East Kingston at the time, Rockford. But before that, I had a good, things were good there. In the early 70s, things were great. I mean, I never had a lack for anything. I never had it want for anything. But after, they start, after the CIA sent their operatives down here to destabilize the government, as Manley's government, things really went for the worse.
And Tony,
But
right?
I left. Yeah, I left in
Right.
1977 for the United States, so I didn't see what happened leading up to the 1980 election. I heard it was really bad.
Yeah.
With the violence.
Man, and when I meet you, people would I meet you in the street and ask you who you are defending. And if you don't say the right thing, you get a gunshot. Yeah. It is bad, man. It is bad. So but we slip out of there with Tony right, because when me come to America, them same little Jeep there, them will have them at the postal service, still have them. So them just ship down a lot of them little Jeep there from the post office. And X amount of M16 come down and flood the place. And it destabilized the whole country with the same JLP party there. As when Manley come, Manley build a whole heap of secondary school all across the country. In bringing the Jamal program, in raise the literacy rate up to 92%. You see? In bringing in the crash program, people say, them a crash program, but they still come and keep the place clean,
National Youth Service.
Yes, housing trust. Yeah, the housing trust, them thing there. Them thing they
All
gone
this stuff.
now.
Right.
They're gone. All them support services, they're gone.
Well, the housing trust is still around, and that's probably the richest entity in Jamaica right now, because what they did, they keep collecting money and they don't spend it.
Yeah.
And I remember they had a national youth service. Whenever you graduate from high school, you got to do 2 years of volunteer service for the government.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
A lot of young people coming out of high school or whatever, they got valuable experience, work experience.
Right.
But all of that, most of those stuff, they nationalized a lot of the bus company got nationalized. A lot of companies got nationalized, so they thought Jamaica was going to be communist, but Manley was just looking out for his people.
I think so.
But all the businessmen, they left. They pack up and they left. Houses in Beverly Hills, you could get them for little or nothing. And the smart people who had some money went and snatched up those houses, because they're pretty good right now.
Yeah. I think that's also what will happen if Jamaican keeps going down the drain the way it is now. Land is going to become very cheap, and by the time we hear about it, it's going to be gobbled up by other nationalities.
It's not as bad as it seems. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as it seems.
Okay.
We just got to get a handle on this crime, especially murder. We got to get a handle on it, so we can have, more investment that will assist the country to do better. And on top of that, we have a lot of corruption. Yes, that's just built into the system. It's for people like us, the diaspora, who return home, to put the pressure, because we know better. We put the pressure on these leaders to change the system. What we need is this country to become a republic, just like what Barbados did. So we changed the constitution.
Yeah.
We need that, But the only way we could do it, you need to have ruling. A party got to rule for 3 consecutive terms before they can bring it up. So technically, if Andrew Holness win the next election, yes, he can bring it up for a referendum and we vote on it. Yes. The only person who could have done that before was PJ Patterson. But I can't. I don't want to go into the reason why he didn't do it. But that's
All
what we're
right. So
looking at.
now, all right, good. So we have some circles we're going to jump into. I think one of the things we have to focus on more than anything else, we talk about crime, is really jobs, ideas for jobs for young and sustainable jobs. That's the most important thing right now in Jamaica to focus on. Ideas for jobs for young men. We need to improve the lives of these young men, get them more opportunities, so they stay out of trouble. Industries. All right, so there's two main important thing here in the colors: ideas for job for young men, and Jamaica has to become a republic. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the most important circle, right? Out of everything else, these young men needs to have work, and work that they're proud of, work that they can't turn down. So now this concept of the job buses linked to private companies, we're going to put that beside the young men getting work and make that kind of orange. The idea, what's happening in Jamaica is a deterioration of the young men. And that's from the change in music has to come close to the young men again. So after analyzing Jamaica, going there, everything revolves around these young black men. African history, they need it, a sense of identity. They're lost within their minds. They don't know who they are. They're confused. And so what we can see here, we have to focus on the young men differently in the society to anything else. They're one of the main cause of the crime. So let's look at the young men first, and then we'll look at the police force and the we're looking at the young men, build them first, then we could it's quicker to get stricter with the officers and the soldiers. It's more work to build the young men, right? So
Bounty, can
go ahead.
what for most young men, the impetus is to get a girl. If the girl is like, well, you don't have any money, so she's going to go into the next guy who she believes has money. So I wonder if it's a chicken or the egg kind of scenario, because these women, women in general, men want women and women want men, but women want, because of biology and all this other science, want men who they feel they are protected by, are secure, there's a level of security and things like that. So these guys may be turning into crime because they want all of these women and a certain type of looking women who go for these kind of guys. You understand what I mean?
Let me jump to you. Women are, let me say, I have to say this. Jamaican men have no problem getting women rich or poor. They're good at that. The most important thing for Jamaican men, one, would be a job or a car and somewhere to live. These young men, they want transportation, they want stability, and they want protection. It's not about the woman. Let's forget the woman in the equation of these young men's life. What's happening around them in these communities where they live, especially with the music. Most of them in the inner cities see the music as a way to get out of their condition. But when when the enemies start to, it's like Brooklyn when I grew up when I was 14. If you don't have protection or you're not part of a crew, you do not get protection. Young lions in Africa, they group together because the jungle is out there. That's what Jamaica is, a jungle. And that these little protection group turn into gang and turfs. And then they start to hustle and support each other and make money together. And then there's inner fighting. So what happens after school, they start go out to the job market and they have to go back home to the inner city where they're from. So they have to, so now you become guilty by association. So if you have a problem with that guy, he has a problem with you, and then you have to stick in little groups like little hyenas or little lions. So we have to look at black men and how they function in a society that doesn't teach them their history. We're not aggressively looking for work for them, questioning why they're sitting on the wall, have laws where they cannot sit on the wall all day, making laws so they're not comfortably lazy. So the laws have to change so that they're not comfortably lazy. They're not idle, no idle time, low idle time. Boop, boop. Yo, walk on. You working? The work law states if you're not working, you have to sign up to certain program. We can't let you sit on the streets without working because of crime. So we have to put these laws in place so these young men don't have so much freedom to do whatever they want to do, which is then to group together now and plan to do crime, plan to do scamming. So we're not even talking about police or corruption or government yet. Let's talk about them. The ones who leave school or didn't go to school, they live at their grandmother's house, they're not paying rent, but whether it be in the rural areas or in Kingston, they're in different little groups at the shop. When they assemble at that shop, that's the meeting place for them, that bar, okay? So they go to these little rum bars or these shops, and that's where they meet. And each of them are watching each other groups. One of them in the group does a scam and they make some money. He's the leader of the group. He bingo. Now he needs protection. So he pays for that protection. He has his henchmen. And they constantly have to scam more because they have to pay their workers to protect them. So whether it be drug trade or gun trade or political affiliation, we have to tackle the gangs in Jamaica. What are the cause of these gangs and how do we dismantle them? We have to look at the young black man. What is he doing with his time? How can we get jobs or change situation or laws to put him in order? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me chime in.
Mhm.
Jamaican young men and women are influenced by what they see happening in America, especially amongst the music and the culture. Okay? You have I'm not saying most young men are good. There's a few who wants to be gangsters. They want to be gunmen. There's a few women out there, young ladies out there, want to be dancers and prostitutes. That's what because they think it's good. They want to be dancers because that's what they see. Because quote unquote, you make money. That's what they see on TV. Yeah, that's what they see in these music videos. You look at, some of these young ladies who are popular right now. You see what they're doing. Now you get to the point where Jamaican artists want to go do that too because they see that they're making money. So that's where the influence comes in now. Okay. These young men, I beg to differ. You know, there's jobs out there.
Okay, all
I
right.
went to. I went. Hold on. I went to. I know they might not be the quality job that they might want to have, but then again, they got to look at the education level. They got to stay in school so they can get a proper education so they can get a better job. A lot of these young men can't read and write, so they got to take whatever is available to them. You know, um, for the most part, you know, if you can't read and write, most likely you got to go into construction, become a laborer or something like that. If there's no construction jobs out there, you know, you got to go find something else that's available that you're qualified for. You
Let,
know,
I want to
I went to two restaurants today.
I
You know,
got it.
the sign, and this sign up there as, you know, help wanted signs, and
Here's
they
what
can't. I mean, it's been the longest time, and they can't fill it. You know, so
the amount of ghettos in Jamaica, even in the country, the environment breeds crime and violence and even prostitution. Not that they chose
yes,
from watching.
yes,
Let me finish.
yes.
Before America influenced Jamaica, there was bad men in dancehall. Before television was showing America being gangster city. Television in Jamaica in the 70s and 80s did not portray Brooklyn as a violent capital of the world. Jamaicans innately in music and drug trade and in the ghettos, just the condition in the environment started to breed these kind of people. So you had 50% choice of what you're going to turn into some of the time. It's a struggle in Jamaica, mainly because of the infrastructure for jobs. Now, when you say jobs are available in Jamaica, it's really tough, and a lot of Jamaicans can attest to that. Jobs are hard to come by. Just your cab fare alone, the transportation to find work is tough. The security guards, a security guard and his girlfriend who works as a shopping center can hardly make it. Farmers can hardly make it. And when they look at this and then they see the scammers, just like Brooklyn, they say, you know what? Let me try the scamming thing because this wages can't even get me a car. I've seen so many Jamaican male who don't have a driver's license because of the cost of the driver's license. Don't have a car because of years go by without a car. They can't save to get one because the money has to go back into taking care of their child and stuff. The financial condition in Jamaica is really stressful when it comes to occupation from the inner cities. When they go look for jobs coming in from Trenchtown or Tivoli, what's your address? They're turned down even till today because you're violent. If we don't innovate, if we don't have, if we don't really aggressively create farming industries, entertainment, broadcasting industries, pay-per-view for artists to perform, most of the Jamaicans are artists. They have no outlets to make money. And if the art has to be skinning out yourself on screen or killing people in your music, they're going to do whatever can sell their music. We have to turn the lazy mind into a good mind, Tony. How do you turn a lazy man into a working man instead of just saying him lazy, him not want to work? How do we change that? How would you change we have to change the laws to make sure he has no option for crime, gun, him no have no option for scamming. So we force him to work or find a job and make the jobs available and publicize the jobs. The National Stadium every month should have a job fair. Mr. Prime Minister, job fairs every month at the National Stadium for youths from the age of 18 to 25. And if you can't prove that you're 18 to 25, boom, job fairs. When was the last time we see a job fair at the National Stadium? And if they do that, you know how much people come in from all over Jamaica for that job fair? They want work. The women have to work in the little bars. Bartender jobs are big for women in Jamaica, all over the country. That's what they do, bartending at these little shop corner bars. That's one job that they have. The older men do the cooking at their carts and stuff and drive taxis and buses. And the older men with bigger houses in Montego Bay, now they have Juta buses. So we have to look at the different industries that these people create. And now the farmers are older and they plant their yams and stuff. And so the young ones, if the crop doesn't come in and they're living in the country, to get from Norway to Malgully, it's about $10. Sometimes they don't have $10 to go to Mandeville or to go to Kingston to look for work. They don't have the money to go to Kingston to look for work. And they have to, if they want to work in Negril and they live in Mandeville, they need to find somewhere in Negril to live. Guess what? Negril is a tourism resort. Montego Bay is a tourism resort. They can't afford to live there because per night prices there to live there is high. So to get to where the jobs are, where the tourism industry is, they pay a lot of money to live in those areas. Okay. Now crime in those areas are very high because money's there as tourism. If you bus them for free to where the tourism work is and bus them back home in the inner cities, it reduces their cost of living and they could still work from the ghettos to where the jobs are. The call centers these young people go to in Montego Bay or Kingston, I see them coming off the bus and they're dressed up nice to go to work, and it's a call center. We have to look at what industries are in Jamaica. Where is the money leaking from? And how can we get more of these monies in the hands of the young men and young women? You see, or how can we use media and technology to create industries where they could develop film industry, art industries. Like Jennifer said, foreigners supposed to be sending down pianos and instruments to Jamaica. Just need to be reconstructed. It has to be reconstructed from the ground up. So instead of putting the onus on them, let's build a new Jamaica conceptually. Find out where the money is, cap it, and position them to want to go to work. So my question for you, Tony, how do you turn a lazy young man into a working man? Because that is the epidemic. Him smoke weed, him drink, him sit on the wall, and end up on the phone. I try to text somebody or scan somebody. Those 4 things he does every day, right? Why pray? What the mats? No, nothing. All right, I said nothing later. And him smoke, him a crushing him hand. 6 stick of weed for the day. And when the evening come, him go near the bar, and him brethren will drive the taxi. Give me a drink now. Him not do nothing all day now. And the man will drive the taxi now, him come for ask for a drink. Cause now, him not do nothing, but him a drink. A lot of these young men just forget some weed and some drink, them will protect you. Them will kill for you. Because they have developed a habit. So they're addicted to alcohol. They're addicts. Yes. Because the Prime Minister didn't ban boom, he didn't ban bad boy, he didn't ban certain alcohol, he didn't increase the age for drinking, Jamaican black men became addicts to marijuana at a young age and to alcohol. So they don't want to work. Because if I could drink and smoke all day under the sun living at my granny's house, and beg a drink or beg a piece of food or steal somebody yam or ackee or breadfruit in the country and then go to the river, go on, $50 for weed, you know. Them always a smoke. Because now them can buy weed, them not even plant it. So you have an addiction problem. So let's add that. So Jennifer, you see what I say, people? You see how I analyze this thing, John Crott? I want to talk to me, man.
One thing with them can do probably like with them do in Israel. In Israel, everybody have to do at least 2 years of military, going at the military. Every striking body, male and female, have to go in and, and during the 2 years or 4 years or whatever, then them get some type of training, get some type of learn some type of skill. You know what I'm saying? That's a one way. That's why Israel, everybody have to do 2 years mandatory military, go in the military, give some serve somewhere. You see? And then you can get a tab on them. See? But now them just laissez fear. Anybody do what the hell they want to do. You see them just a high glad here.
Yes.
Sit down there and a goof. Another thing where I think the government have to have some input in it. Probably the major lifting. But I think like factories, okay? Jamaica have that aluminum, that raw material. All these years, all they've been doing is just selling the strike aluminum, selling it out. They don't manufacture a pin, they don't manufacture a machete, they don't manufacture a pot. All them things that is jobs. You see, you have the natural raw material there. Add value to the thing, make some finished products. Same thing with the food. Add value to the food, package it. Them is jobs. That's all jobs, so. But the minor did this so. The leadership, the minor did this so. Them just real keen watch what when we can achieve now. So when you out, then you are right. You see? Marcus Garvey say, if you do with them, him say if you pay, good. Make sure you pay your politician good. Make sure you pay your civil servant good. But if they are caught doing anything nefarious, you must put them to death. Okay? That's the way God will say. Stone them to death.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Chime in, please.
What's the question? Going back to notice fuller. What do you want me to specifically?
All right. Not
I
specific.
don't want to go on a tangent.
Okay.
Well, all right. What I think literacy is these young people did not grow up and say, yeah, I want to be a waste man or a prostitute. You understand?
Yeah.
So, literacy is important. There was a video of a teacher, I don't know what school, but somewhere in Jamaica, where she put the lesson plan in the form of a song. And I don't remember where I read it, but when I was young, my mother used to do it also. She would teach me something. All right, let's do the ABCs. You know how the ABCs has a song associated with it because it's easier somehow for the brain to remember that melody. So this particular teacher taught the lesson plan, and all the kids were very involved and animated to, participate in this program, but they're learning something. And when you're growing up and you know the words of a song and your parents are like, well, you should know your lesson that well. You understand? But it's in a song. It's not just wrote. So we have to remember who we are, right? In terms of, how we learn. And this is also what Junko was saying, that there's a difference in the chemical makeup of a black child as opposed to a white child, same age, same quote unquote environment, because of their psychology, their mind, the way their mind works. Now, going back to what I think is the one of the foundations for a productive life, you have to know how to read, you have to know how to write. And a lot of people, especially nowadays, it's astounding how many people I've met, even in their 50s, who can barely read or write. You understand? So if you can barely read and write, most of these parents are not going to instill that skill and the necessity for that skill in their children. So then you have 30-something-year-olds who do not read and do not write. But the problem, so, we talk about jobs, we talk about, just being a productive adult in your society. But the bottom line, when you boil it all down, do you know how to read and do you know how to write? A monkey can follow directions. Can you think critically? Can you evaluate things before you step into it? So can you think abstractly? So these are some things that, go back to education. What is this education that they currently have, and how is it implemented? We're talking about digital, having digital books and stuff like that. That's great. But if you live back a bush or somewhere where you can barely get a Wi-Fi signal, all right, then we're going to have to start making sure that these towers that do not cause cancer and other tumors and other issues to the people that live near them can provide internet service to these people who live far away so that they're able to also tap into that digital network.
Just to defend the digital system in Jamaica, digital books can be at a hub to be received without internet access. So digital books can be distributed without internet from a hub location. So books don't really need internet to say. You just put it in the churches, they get it from the churches. And all phones in Jamaica have access to download a book. Jamaica is really wired. So Jamaica doesn't have a technical challenge when it comes to receiving digital books. That's one thing for sure that I know for a fact. Everywhere you go, there's a seller or signal. They're pretty good at that. So whether it be 3G or the LTE, Jamaica is good on that. So digital books is an easy
so that's not a
implementation.
problem.
It's an easy implementation because it also doesn't. Once you load 200 books for a child on a tablet, they don't need access, and
If they have a tablet.
That's where we need to increase the technology. So when we engage with China, the future, and you see what we're doing, we're just throwing out ideas, which is fine. I want us the engagement with China. Engage with China. Why? And why would I want to engage in China? For tablets, for cameras, tablets, computers, musical instruments. We could build them locally through bambus or whatever. Musical instruments. So when I want to get a loan from China, what I want the loan to be is a lot of money for cameras, for security, right? For tablets, for computers, for musical instruments, for kids, and for farming equipment. If Jamaica borrow a lot of money from China, get it from China to build Jamaica, instead of just building highways, the balance would to slow down on the highways for now and start increasing the access to empowering the youths with these, like Janko said, bauxite. We start building stuff, but to engage with China, we get cameras, tablets, computers, musical instruments, farming equipment, like tractors and stuff like that we could subsidize for these youths. The government alone, because of the bauxite company should be partially responsible for assisting in plowing the land. So they should assist and fund and assist farmers, bauxite companies. It has to be mandatory. And these are the things, if you start doing these granular things in these communities, building water catchment for farmers. So you have to know what's needed in the country fill the basic needs that they can't afford to fill themselves. And you'll see a difference in the product that they produce. If they have the tools, the water catchment for the dripping system, they can't afford the hose, they can't afford the tank, they can't afford to build a tank, they can't afford the tractor. So how they're going to farm with their machete? How much can they plant with one machete to really supply their family? And this is what the challenge is. Jamaica young men or young farmers, they don't have the tools. And the bauxite companies or the government, it's not making it so that there's a balance where they have the bauxite company responsible for helping that area, St. Catherine, Clarendon, or Manchester. You see. So we're looking at the ideas how we engage China for security purposes. So we should go for a big loan from China, and in no time we'll have the camera setup that we're going to need in 1 year, so that criminals think twice, one, even in rural areas, and the police force has to be, technology has to be enhanced in the police force, and more physical libraries for children with computers have to be placed all over the islands. That's a no-brainer. There has to be more. If you want Jamaica to move in the 21st century, you get, for every 10 miles, you get at least 2 containers. For every 20 miles, you get 2 containers, or every 10 miles, so that mama can take the taxi with Junior to 2 containers and book a time to use the high-end computer for Junior. The people abroad will fund that. That's how you bring Jamaica into 24. So every 10 miles, there has to be libraries where digital books can be downloaded, high-end animation, video editing, filmmaking, music production, computers are available. So we go for a big loan from China to build. China can ship 1 ship to Jamaica with the computers in there and leave the containers. And our local welders can build these container libraries. We could digitize them with Wi-Fi from Digicel, kids downloading free books, and lock them into the network with proxies. So Jamaica can go in the 21st century. You just have to see it, build it. It has a lot to do with China. So I would borrow a lot of money from China and build a new Jamaica to insert the new mind in the people. They're going to need access to technology. That's part of the idea. Engage with China. And what do you engage for? So the things that distract the young youth and the young girl, because Jamaica don't have so much industry, virtually they could participate in the marketplace, and they could work also, like India gets jobs farmed out to India. If these containers are in 10-mile radius, you pay to use a computer and you sign up to Fiverr and you do design work. If you can't afford to buy the computer, there's job on Fiverr. There's people who are editing paper. There's people who are designing logos. There are people doing video editing. So increase the digital workflow, the opportunity to work from home, and find those kind of work, and team up with private institutions in America to bring these work local to these containers in the inner cities. So you get the ship from China, get the containers, place them all around Jamaica, put the computers there, and the government engage with private institution abroad to send work there for the young individuals in that rural community, so they don't have to go to Kingston, nor they do have to go to Mandeville. Tony, are you see what I'm saying here?
Okay. I like to go back to what Bronco just said about the politicians, and the reason why we have corruption. And he's right. The politicians don't get paid enough. The police don't get paid enough. The teachers don't get paid enough. The nurses don't get paid enough. And the reason why you see a lot of corruption in politics and the police and wherever, because they're not getting paid enough. But the average policeman's salary is about $100,000 a month. What it works out to be $600-700 a month. Same with a teacher. They average the same amount, but $90,000 to $100,000 a month. Same with a nurse. Okay, so when you have a teacher that's educated, a nurse that's got her training, educated, get her training, what they do? They leave because they're not getting paid enough. So in order to reduce corruption, as Dranko said, we have to pay our politicians more. Politicians' salary, the average salary for a politician, for a member of parliament, is $7.2 million. That works out to be $47,000 a year. So that's the reason why I let them get into corruption, because it's not enough. Same with the police, it's not enough. They can't raise a family on that kind of income.
So if
they're tempted to go.
Maybe Jamaica don't have the money to pay them. Could they give them incentives?
Precisely. This is what I'm leading up to now. Jamaica, the government don't have the money to implement all the stuff that we would like them to do. They don't. Jamaica is not poor, but it's also its wealth is from the private sector. Okay. One of the problems we have in Jamaica is that people are not paying their fair share of taxes. Okay, most people, as a poor, or if you make us under a certain amount, you don't pay no income tax. A lot of people work informally. They don't pay no income taxes. Okay, property taxes down here is a joke, compared to what you'll pay in Canada or United States. Okay, so most of the taxation that that the government collects, to be honest, is through the ports. That's why when you ship stuff, you pay so much. That's the only way they can collect that tax. So the government don't have a lot of money to do all the stuff that we like them to do. So as John Crow said, we have to find a way to make sure the police are paid well, so they can do a better job. They have the morals are high, and they will maintain a certain standard. But right now, it's too tempting for them to go, to do corrupt things, because they're not getting paid enough. It's the same problem we have in the United States. Wherever you have a police department, usually they pay them well.
Somebody says here, if they know the salaries before they get into politics, why then do it? Many get into politics
because that's a job that's available, and they know a lot of them go with good intention, a lot of them go with bad intention. Okay, some go with the idea that it's going to be temporary. It's just a stepping stone because they're educated to get to something else. You have kids young people coming out of college because they say they can't get a job in their field. They'll go into law enforcement as a stepping stone to other things. Most people, a lot of people have the idea that they're going to migrate because they have certain experience. If you're a nurse, you come out of a nursing school, you go and work in hospital for a couple of years, you get experience, you migrate, because they recruit people to go overseas to work. Same with teachers. Okay, that's why we have all this brain drain. The thing, we gotta look ourselves in the mirror, because with people not paying their fair share of taxes, so the government can't have enough to take care of the service that they have to provide. Then again, some people are skeptical because of the corruption. So it's a never-ending circle. Where do you start? Where do you start? Where do you end?
Tony, let me ask you a question, Tony. Does it cost a lot to start a business in Jamaica? Say a person wants to open a little business. Do it cost them a lot to get a business license, stuff like that?
No. It's not as, I don't think it's that difficult to get a business. You got to go register. There are probably 2 agencies you got to go to and register for a business. But most people don't even register for this. They put up informal businesses. I mean, people put up bars. People put up bars and they don't have a liquor license. All they got to put up a sign say we intend to apply for a license at the next meeting of the parish council or whatever. And that's all you got to do. And you post that sign up in the bar, you have a bar forever. You never need to get a liquor license. So it's not easy as it seems. So we gotta look at everything on a whole.
All right, here's my 2 cents.
Lisa exists. Go ahead.
I've been listening, and I hear what you're saying, Randy. I hear what you're saying. Going back, Jamaica we were the number 1. As far as to export for bauxite and sugarcane and all of that. And to this day, we do not even have a plant. And here we are, more, other folks are coming and digging up. I think letter to the Prime Minister, anyone who's coming into the
Lisa,
island.
Lisa, I just want to make a point. I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason why Jamaica doesn't refine the bauxite because it takes a lot of energy to refine the bauxite. Jamaica is not an energy producing country. That they don't produce oil. You have to buy everything and import it. It's very expensive. So to be honest, if you were to ship that bauxite overseas and refine it, it would be cheaper to buy that aluminum than to try and produce it yourself.
I understand that it's very expensive. But I don't think any of the government took the time to start. I mean, think about it. Being the number 1 export in bauxite and sugarcane to this day till now, I mean, they could have at least started to invest in some kind of plant or something to bring the money back. This is what I'm saying.
They do have a plan. They do have a plan.
Okay,
they do have a plan. I'm sorry, they do have a plan.
Companies that come to
but they sold it.
There you go again. They're selling out everything.
They do have a plan.
But
they sold it.
But what?
You gotta understand, these bauxite companies are not government owned. They're private companies. They're private companies, and you have the bauxite company right? in Clarendon. You have a bauxite company in Clarendon that have a power plant, and it recently caught fire. But I think they sold the power plant because it's not efficient to produce aluminum because it costs so much for energy.
Okay, but listen to me for a second.
Wait,
Guyana.
Tony, give Lisa a second. Hold your points, Tony.
I want you to listen to me for a second. What I'm trying to say is all the companies that come into Jamaica to make money need to contribute to the island of Jamaica. Either they all need to take on a case of what it is that they would like to contribute to. Okay, either contribute to the schools so they can have better, education for the children. Schools should be free in Jamaica up to high school. You shouldn't have to be hustling to pay school fee and hustling for books and all of that. So what we're trying to say is that these companies, letter to the Prime Minister, we should start holding them accountable into contributing back to the island that makes them so successful. Grace Kennedy, Digicel, all of these companies need to take on some kind of to give back to the island. And they can choose, how they need to do this. If Digicel want to take on with the youth, if Grace Kennedy want to do something with the young men, if, the bauxite company or whatever company, all of these companies who are coming in, making money off the island need to give something back. This is what we're saying. To contribute in setting up. Excuse me?
Social responsibility.
But how do you force these? How do you force these companies to do that?
One thing I love about that, and let me make sure that is the center of what Jamaica growth should be. That right there is the winning ingredient. And because of changing of laws and taxation, private sectors should never have raped Jamaica for so long. The hotels from the Spanish hotels, the bauxite companies, all of these private companies raped Jamaica. So what we focus on abroad is to make sure government changes the law so private sector play a bigger role in building Jamaica medical system and schools and so forth and security system. And yeah, I think that is the main problem that happened to Jamaica. It's been ripped of its resources and there's no accountability to private sector. So this idea of investors coming in to invest, their returns are people love to come invest in Jamaica because their returns, they don't have to pay so much probably tax and stuff. So they love doing business with us because they just take the money out of the country, whether it's food production or export, even in food. So Lisa, I applaud you. It's all about the private sector being, I applaud what Janker says, private sector be more accountable. And this is why I always say when I go to the ghetto, how come Grace Kenny does not build the play fields with their own brand and set up even containers for kids to play music on top of these containers? We understand these people sponsor, but J. Ray and Nephew and D&G are the reason why Jamaica is dysfunctional. They've taken out these families are their profits. You don't even get to see their books. They don't play an integral role in making Jamaica better. This is the center. We have to focus on this, and that will ultimately reduce crime in Jamaica if the private sectors are mandatory taxes on certain things. So Tony, chime in. All right, I'm gonna go to Jennifer. Jennifer, she's been waiting for a while. Jennifer?
Hi.
Yeah,
Yes?
you've been waiting for a while. Chime in if you have anything.
Oh, I have nothing to add.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, the government is not wealthy. So there's a lot of things I would like to see them do, but I know they can't do it because they don't have the money. They're lucky, they have a good diaspora that supports the island, because without the diaspora, I don't know, how they even manage. Tourism is, it's a number one enterprise in Jamaica, but when you're desperate and you need development, provide jobs to people, you can't force their hands. You have to be careful. You gotta negotiate and be careful how you negotiate with them, because they could say, we're not coming in, we don't need you, we go somewhere else.
I don't think they will.
I'm quite sure whatever it is, I'm quite sure whatever they're doing though, they're probably doing the best they can. in terms of, dealing with these companies that come in and invest. I mean, these bauxite companies, I'll say.
Tony, just say
Go
government.
ahead about the bauxite
Go
company.
ahead, Tony.
Go back to bauxite company. You see, like Guyana produced bauxite. You understand? Guyana just discovered the airport. Only in the future, Guyana is going to be more competitive than Jamaica when it comes to bauxite. You know what I'm saying? So now they can probably set up the plants to refine it there instead of shipping away to to do it. So there's a lot of wish lists that I have, but you got to look at the facts and realize that we can't do it because we are a country that we're a consumer nation. We're not a producer. And you see that happen in the United States. United States are producing stuff. Everything is going to China to be produced. So we like to do certain things with China, but we can't because they hold a lot of our debts in the United States. So you have to look at the big picture before we start talking about stuff.
I think the island of Jamaica, the island, the soil itself, and I'm not just saying this out of the side of my head, that the soil of Jamaica is so rich. The island itself is so rich because they just didn't start coming to Jamaica the other day to reap and export. This has been going on from decades now. So Jamaica has something that they want because they keep coming and they never stop. And it's even going on even more. You think it would have slowed down, less of this, less that. No, they are still doing. So think about it. Jamaica has something that they want and that they need and that they're reaping for, and they are making money to this day. When I hear the Minister of Tourism during the peak of COVID said, oh yeah, we just really had just 1 million, visitors. And I'm like, during that year of COVID, we had almost 1 million, 67 planes touching down in one day. Come on. Money is being made on the island. So all I'm asking for is those companies, those major companies that have made their bit to do on the island of Jamaica is just to contribute a little bit back, not asking for much. And this is what they can do. But I think we don't write it in the deals that we make to them, and we do not turn around and ask them. So I think we should reach out to these companies. Right. We should reach out to these companies. I mean, think about it. Jamaica is a hub. Where Jamaica is located is a hub. It was one of the richest Caribbean islands. I mean, and just not to blow smoke, all Usain Bolt did was talk about yellow yam. And off they go running. Let's go check that out. Our marijuana, off they go running. Let's go check that out. We should have been, and I think I spoke to Jennifer before of how they come and they take our culture, turn around and they sell it to us. As far as legalizing marijuana, we should be at the head of the table. Like Jennifer and I was having this discussion. So a lot of things are being exported out of the country and we are not getting nothing back. And I think this leads to just, young men not having anything to do, just being, why? I guess I'm a life reach. You know what I mean? Just think about what's going through their mind. You go to school, you do all these subjects, you turn around, there's nothing for you to do. So you're going to do what everybody's doing, right? So if they can start contributing back and we can start holding them accountable, we're not saying to bum rush them and, hey, you need to do this or that. We're just saying contribute a little bit back. You want to take on the charity of a school? Fine. You want to take on a charity of a young man organization? Fine. You want to take on a charity of the farmers and not just, donating land to the farmers for them to use, lease the land, but provide them with tools and, provide them with, the education to grow whatever they need to grow. Just starting small. I'm not saying for us to bum rush them, but they are making a lot of money. When I look at the stock market and I look at how much money is going on and being made, I'm like, where the hell does it go? It goes out of the country.
Lisa, just to piggyback on what you say. You see,
whoa. Rasta no eat pork. Whoa. You have to.
Piggyback.
You have to veggie back. You have to veggie back. Rasta no eat pork. Watch how you talk on the show, Junker. Go on.
So, you see, what she explained there is on a macro level. You see, a macro level. Those people carting out the money, and chances are they don't look like me and you. Now you go take it down to the micro level now in your community, right? If you live in a Brooklyn, Harlem, Bed-Stuy, Detroit, any place you have a high population of black people. The same thing we mentioned there a while ago is the same thing that's going on. Other people set up in a full community and cart out the money every day. And the same thing going on Jamaica. Other people cart out the money out of the communities on a daily basis. So it's happening on a big level and it's happening on the small level too. Other people running our community, running the economic life of our community and cart the money out. Now I don't know in Jamaica, as far as on the ground, probably a lot of the little retailers are Jamaicans. But if you really go and test and see who, you would have probably be surprised to see how much East Indian they there, how much Arabs they there, how much Chinese are cart out the money out of the Jamaican society too.
Yeah. Because they're reaping from the island. I mean, the price of houses is so high in Jamaica. Like, how is crime so high and the price of houses so high? As a road starts to build, before a land is not worth anything, and as a highway starts to build, you can't even buy in that area anymore. Then who is buying it up? Like the amount of hotels we have, the amount of tourism we have, the amount of tourists. I mean, I've known people who save just to go to Jamaica. And I'm like scratching my head like, I don't understand. But it's always been that way. There's something about that island, the richness of that island. I've seen a documentary of Dubai, and I know they have their wealth from oil, but it was nothing but dirt. Not even a tree was growing. And they reinvested back all that oil money. And in 20 years, the city of Dubai, it was from nothing to dirt, just tractors just rolling around the dirt. Now there's skyscrapers. Yes, they had oil. But whatever riches we had in Jamaica should have been reinvested back into the island. Just some part. We're not asking for all, just a little bit.
I say Lisa
but
for
nothing
prime.
is being reinvested.
Lisa for Prime Minister.
That's why he's got to make the deal. He's got to make the deal. If you're going to have them,
maybe we just
you're going to sell out the airport. You're going to sell out the airport. Our borders are not secure.
I need
first of all
Donald Trump to be Prime Minister. Make a better deal. Make Jamaica great again.
I can't. Now you make me want to piggyback.
Don't piggyback, veggie back, all right? Yes, my people. So this is Jamaica Good Life. Tony. So private sector, I guess, win. The raping of Jamaica, basically. And the allowance of the two political parties to allow Jamaica to be raped. From long time, from the tea export to the sugarcane export to the pirate days, appear raping. Now we have predators paradise. So it's like everybody just come on tech, and the people just look upset. You see me? So again, private sector and government have to do a better job in distributing the wealth. Tourism is major. And mind you, the people who service the tourism industry don't even get paid well enough, one, or coverage for them whole family medical care. Me film with Nadisha and Nick and them when I went to the grill. So I know their income, $300 a month, you call a job? 300 US a month, 400 US per month, you call a job? A job? $400 per month when food, you put $100 for food and it can't last you a week. You have to
All
buy
right.
gas, you know? Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So these people are paid very poorly,
Yes.
okay, in the tourism industry. There's something called sex tourism. I don't know if anybody is aware or know anybody who works at one of the resorts, but a lot of it is predicated on prostitution. So, Janice gets paid $400 or whatever to work at this resort, but here comes Mr. Foreigner who wants to pay her $400 for the night. So it's not just for the beaches and the beautiful atmosphere and the food. It's also because you can buy flesh. That's one of the reasons why tourism is so great or so popular or a moneymaker. So, bottom line is like this, there's no reason or what, maybe let me rephrase that. What is the reason why these people are being paid so poorly? Even for a high school student, $300 is just a waste of time.
Can I address that?
Sure.
Because the market dictates that.
Okay.
Because they are, for every one that they hire, there's two or three more ready to take that job. Okay? That's one. Number two, on these resorts, yes, the official salaries are quote unquote, $300 a month. I know there are certain resorts that they frown upon you taking tips, but they, a lot of those people who work there, they make good tips doing that stuff. If you do housekeeping, you make up the bed. Usually, you get a tip from the guests when they leave. So if you're doing, so these are things that people don't talk about. So that's why there are people lining up to take these jobs, even though it doesn't pay well officially. They do make money in tips. Okay. And to address the issue of you can't do that on a resort. You'll get fired. I mean, the people who are doing it is the people in the street, but not on the resorts.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Where you there, Randy?
Yeah.
Randy, I piggyback.
My veggie back.
My veggie back.
No, you must. Not everybody get tips. One, and sometimes the people the flesh trade in Jamaica is strong. The flesh trade, just like in Singapore. So you have to understand. Say the tourism is the strongest dollar in Jamaica, and it really is controlled by some very elite Jamaicans, and then protect it. Then protect it for many years, and they kept it in their circle. And they pay both parties. They control both parties. So they're never touched. They fund both parties, the tourism industry, for their best interest, because the hotel owners fund the parties so they're not highly taxed until they could get the best assets. If you're going to change laws for the betterment of the people, if a police, I always say this, let's get practical. If a police and a nurse or a teacher knows that they could get access to, if Jamaica locked down 2,000 beachfront property acres for police and nurses and stuff for the future to do Airbnb, they get a part of that hotel money when they invest 10 years into the force or into teaching. So they could retire without thinking of scamming, even government officials. The incentive idea for later business opportunities is something they could think about in the future. If you can't pay the police or the teachers now, or the politician, lower their taxes or give them access to cheaper land for beachfront properties so they could build their Airbnbs to succeed. Or give, so if you don't change the taxes for foreigners bringing in cars, Jamaica has to do something to empower the people of Jamaica to profit from the resource there. Marijuana license is too expensive. So again, private investors come and they take over that business of marijuana export. Okay? If you don't have a certain size of shipment of yam going to the port, a farmer that has 6,000 head of yams cannot ship out the yam himself. So bureaucracy and laws make things hard for the people of Jamaica and good for the investors of Jamaica. So while they're trying to keep their investors, the people are not progressing. It's the same thing for the people. So we had a lot of pointers here, which I'm happy you guys, we were very productive tonight on episode 5. I commend each and every one of you for your contribution. This was very productive. And so far I could summarize, when we focus on the young men, we focus on gangs, induce African history, ideas for jobs for young men, job buses linked with private companies, bauxite to make local products to create jobs, maybe addiction problem, change music, mandatory military, gun sweep, engage with China, cameras, tablets, computers, musical instrument and equipment, bauxite company fund to assist farmers. Some ideas to what we could do for help young people. Now we have some other ideas we came up with: change gun laws, crime laws, digitalize all agencies from transparency. So get rid of the paperwork, improve medical institution and care and free access. Police body cams, get that from China. Literacy program for people who have aged out of school. Invest in solar energy. Free schools here. More access to digital books. Churches do more as clinical centers, farming, social centers, professional mental advice, and Jamaica has to become a republic. Increase payments for government workers. People pay more taxes, and private sector play bigger role in building Jamaica medical systems and school infrastructure. That, my friends, is what we came up with tonight. What do you guys think about some of those ideas?
You know,
All great ideas.
They might listen. Yeah, but know them are listen and them are going to take some of the idea them. So just keep your ear to the ground for your, because them are listen, and rest assured, them are going to take some of them idea. Yeah. But I don't know, because, that's what we put it out here for.
You're right, Drancro. They are listening because they have been addressing some of the issues that we've been talking about. So I've seen that they've been addressing it. It's one of the things now they really going aggressive after guns. Today they recovered 13 guns from someone in Trelawney, in one of those gated communities. So they're working on that. So I know it's getting through to them. They're hearing what's going. They're hearing what we're saying. I agree.
Absolutely, I do think they're hearing. I hope they're listening, because this is a part of our letter to Jamaica, of suggestions and ideas, of how we can save Jamaica and I don't want to say make it better again, but of just how we can save Jamaica, and just have some of these companies just some kind of accountability, in giving back, compared to how much they make, even giving back 5%. I don't think that's asking too much.
So someone said in the room that how can they pay more taxes if they don't? So we say increase the amount of people who pay taxes. Okay, so we're not saying, we revise that. Don't increase taxes on the people, just increase the amount of people who pay taxes, because sometimes the Jamaican people they steal light, they don't pay taxes. The apple rotten everywhere, the carrot no look good everywhere you turn it in Jamaica. So we focus today on improving much of the youths. And the next time we meet again, look at this. This is great. We're going to have another diagram. We're going to keep building these diagrams, part of the letter. And we are building this for them to listen. And we're building this for the public to see that we're a productive channel, as opposed to talk, talk, talk. We provide the solution so that others can use media such as YouTube to there are other intelligent, intellectual Jamaicans out there that could do similar to what we're doing, put our minds together and present to officials productive ways we can make this country better, because we're capable. We have done this for America. We've built America and UK. Jamaicans have built other countries. I think it's time we build our own and put our effort and our mind to work. And this is what Jamaica Good Life is doing. So I really appreciate you guys for coming out and doing this. I appreciate all the suggestion and everything. John Cross says something to summarize for me, please.
I think we doing well. I feel good about this one here tonight. Feel real good about it. So, because as I say, we're not just addressing the problems, we're giving solutions too. So that's great.
Lisa.
Yes, I think our letter to Jamaica is going well. Hopefully we can cut and print soon. And I'd advise, all our viewers out there, if you're listening, go ahead and, write your letter to Jamaica of the changes that you'd like to see and the contributions you can make to Jamaica. That's it.
Jennifer?
It's just more of the same. I look forward to the other side of this. I trust that this is going to be a productive way of addressing the issues. We all know what the issues are. All right, so let's develop some of these solutions and see what happens. Like I said before, it can't get any worse. So,
Tony.
I am very optimistic about the future. And it's because of what we're doing, and I know they're listening. I know, their feet are to the fire right now. So they gotta start moving. So we're ready to turn this thing around. Be prepared for that when it happens. Okay, if you haven't got a piece of the rock, make sure you get a piece of the rock right now before it happens. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for everyone for coming out. This is Jamaica Good Life. Thank you guys again. You're doing it for Jamaica. It's 2 hours. We have about let's see. We have a good little letter so far. People, if you want to send your letter in, just email it to Jamaica Good Life One. I don't have much participation right now. Jamaica Good Life One at gmail.com. Jamaica Good Life right now is not on top of the view list for YouTube. There's a lot of lot of things going on out there. But as little as we are on Talawa, some reason we have the best people around us. Tony, Jennifer, Lisa, Jankro. I commend you guys for not doing it for the likes, but doing it for the love. Leone, big up yourself. She-Rock Promotion. Nadine Lee. So we haven't called a fire warrior in a long time, Let's see.
More fire.
We need more fire. We are water. We need the fire. I think people, before we end, make us see if the fire lady is there. She's probably sleeping. Maybe if the fire on. Tony, I'm gonna let you go see if I can call the fire lady. All right, Tony. All right. We'll see if we talk
Peace.
later, Tony. Peace. So let me see if we can call the fire lady if she's there to end the show for us. Because without fire, we can't cook no food.
Your blessings, my dear.
Oh, leave the best for last. Were you listening to the
And
show?
how are they?
Were you listening to the show?
No, I was here watching a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I did not watch the show.
You didn't know the show was live because you're live right now.
Oh my goodness. Good evening, warrior kings and queens. And how are they?
We called you because we wanted some
Yes.
fire. Without you,
Oh my
there's no
goodness.
food.
Well, listen, I am gathering women from Poughkeepsie, New York, who will be going to Jamaica with me. So, because what happened is, not only do I want to build a library, but now as the bishop that we visit his church, we want to definitely have a school too in St. Thomas. So say, I was too excited to hear the news. So I said, let me keep it a little secret until I talk back to you. So tonight that you're talking to me now, I can tell everyone because I started teaching in 1994 when I graduated from high school. And I remember a lot of people was asking me that, what college did you go to? And everybody was too excited to hear. And I said, I went to Easington College and passed my exam to go to Seafood High School, graduate from Seafood High School, and then start teaching. And they will say, there's no way that can happen. I said, oh, yes, way. Because my grandmother's sister was a teacher. And then my, let me see, there was another lineage down the line that was a teacher. And then I am a teacher. And then my cousins are teachers. So we having a school, and my niece is a teacher. So here it is that we're gonna have a school and a library. So let me tell you something. This a warrior queen here, too excited.
Whoa.
No, seriously.
We're gonna have
Seriously.
to have Jennifer join you guys.
Cause Jennifer, come on, listen to me. All of the
Jennifer.
warrior queens them I want. I want every warrior queen. Tell them say all road lead to St. Thomas. And as I tell you, I am retiring on the 8th. No, you think this is a joke, but when I
No,
retire
I'm
already,
I'm
no,
not joking. Where's
no,
Jennifer?
I'm so mysterious.
Jennifer?
I'm so mysterious.
Yeah,
The warrior queens are ready. There's a lot of fire there.
No,
yeah,
I
I
am
feel it.
ready. When I tell you I am ready, listen, Jennifer, I am ready. When you hear me tell you, when I call my job on Monday
Hmm.
and I was talking to them, and everybody was so excited. Oh, they no, don't be excited. I have been doing this since 1998 when I graduated from Philadelphia as a CNA, and I said to myself, I am giving myself until I'm 44, and I'm 44 years old, and I am retiring. Don't be excited to hear my voice. so, no, so yes, and listen to the joke about it. I had to crack them up. I had to give them something to laugh. I said, not only I'm retiring, I'm getting married. I'm gonna be having 9 babies. Mr. The people, I'm done.
Okay.
Hello. You know you think listen, me.
So you're building the school and you're populating the school, right?
I am because they're gonna have to help me teach. Hello.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well, we
you
wish you
don't
best
know
of luck, and
this is even if I have to adopt all 9, it's gonna happen.
we're gonna send Lisa to be the cook at the kitchen with the big
Come
pot.
on, Lisa. And
Yeah.
you know who's the doctor?
Who's that?
Angela Burke, the greatest woman.
All right, fire, fire. So much
And,
fire.
and you are, and what are you, the uncle? Hello,
All
don't
right.
put yourself out tight.
I think
You
Jamaica's
better
in
know
great
it.
hands. And
No,
we
but
just
no,
wanted
no,
to call
seriously though.
you.
But serious, I had to tell you this though, because even tomorrow, I'm gonna be definitely going to the pastor for the church, and they're gonna be giving me books and so many other things that she have to give me, and I'm gonna be going over there to get them. This is serious though.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not joking around. And then you know that I have Christina Atkinson, another warrior queen who's coming, and Sister Nadine Daly that was here today at my place, and she's ready. You know who else is ready? Prophet Rosemary Lee. She's
Hmm.
ready.
Wow.
She listen to me. And then my mom is on the other end. She was like, I pray for you ladies. I said, thank you, mother.
Wow,
That's
look at
what we
this.
need.
Look at this.
Yes.
So you tell me, say,
She
a
is
Jamaica Good Life inspired this movement?
it is Jamaica Good Life that inspired this movement. Because
Wow.
normally I'm always in Jamaica getting in trouble because my trouble is I normally stay 9 months at a time down there. And my father, Mr. Nathan Ainsley Lee, called me up and said, let me tell you something. If me ever come to Jamaica, can't say I'm gonna chop you up. I said, bring your machete and come.
Hmm.
Hello.
All right.
Because I am trying to explain to him, I'm always going to school, walking home, going to the farm, going to the river. And I'm not used to be coming home from work, sitting in the house, peeping on the window. I am not used to things like this. You understand? I said, I am so happy for the opportunity. I am happy for what you did for me. But I'm trying to explain something to you that you're not listening to me. So I got me a job and I bought me a one-way ticket. I'm going home. So
Wow.
I was always getting in trouble, but now I can't get in trouble no more. I'm not 19 anymore. I'm 44.
Mhm. So you're gonna build Jamaica.
I am. I'm
Beautiful.
starting from St. Thomas, where I was born and raised. Yes. I'm starting right where I come from. Born and raised in that back room that you went and did the interview, talked to my sisters and talked to my daughter and all my family. I
All
was
right.
born right there. Yes.
So we into
May
two
9th.
hours. We into 2 hours into the show. We just call you
Yes.
to check in with you. We have to.
Man.
We have to run. But
Love you.
all right, just keep the fire burning.
I
I
sure will.
and
Warrior Queens and Kings, good night. Love and blessings.
respect.
Respect the manners, man.
Yes. So people, that's the warrior queen. She's gonna have 9 kids to populate the school and the library. She's gonna build. That's what anybody else want to have 10 kids and retake over? No, no takers. Anyone? All right, my people, this is Randy for Jamaica Good Life. It's been an honor. Whatever we accomplished tonight, hopefully the future youths will benefit from the ideas we put in place. We can't do everything in one day. Them say Africa was not built in a day. And we take it one step at a time. The ideas are great. John Crow, Tony, Jennifer, thank you for kicking off the musical idea. And Lisa, thank you for ending with the private sector. And Tony, thank you for enlightening us on what can be done with bauxite. And John Crow, keep up the focus and watch them like a hawk. Until next time, I say, we love Jamaica with our heart. It's Jamaica Good Life, Randy signing out. Productivity is a must.